So let me ask you, has doing this experiment made you more confident in approaching women, in communicating what it is that you're looking for, like inside in your state, inside of yourself? Has it impacted at all your confidence or other areas of yourself?
I think it's actually.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Black Box Dating here. Met you at a local event here in Denver, and you have taken it upon yourself to promote the fact that you are single to like a whole new level. But before we get into all of that, let's start with who are you? What do you do? What's your background?
So I have a videography and marketing background. Ran a small business in Florida doing that, and out here in Colorado, I have a videography business capturing family stories for your parents or grandparents who live in a retirement home.
Yep. Okay. So that, and then you are single. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about your backstory. Were you using dating apps? Were you trying to meet women online? What's sort of the backstory that led up to this new endeavor you've been doing?
I think like most people, I spent years on the dating apps just swiping through people, and I never had much luck. It wasn't really a big thing to me. I started doing in-person dating events, really loved that. And then now that I'm doing in-person dating events even more, I was like, okay, I'm going to try something different. I called up a matchmaker, just, I'm like, because I think it was my sister who suggested. She's like, have you ever tried this? I heard a coworker that was doing this, and I call them up and they wanted $3,800, and then
Yeah.
they wanted another 150 a month and stuff like this. And I'm like, whoa, my brain instantly went to marketing costs, and I Googled it real fast, did some keyword analysis, and basically I went, singles in Denver. What's that keyword cost? And I'm like,
Okay.
rank for that. I could do that. And just approached it with like a pay-per-click campaign mindset.
Awesome. Okay. So I mean, I actually, I've never used a matchmaking service, but I did investigate it at one point. And I think the cheapest that it came down to for me was something like $500 or $600 per first blind date. As in, I didn't even get to see a picture of the girl I was going on a date with. I just had to trust this person. And I think it was $550 was if you bought the most. And that was, I think, $5,000 or $6,000 worth. And, and then it went up from there for a first date. So you sort of like looked at that cost and said, hang on, I'm used to working with marketing budgets. I bet you I could actually get way more traction and way more good opportunities for the same budget or for less of a budget. So, okay. So, all right. So then you decided to build a website. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I went ahead and threw a website together because I'm like, if I'm already signed up for all these apps, I already have all this very personal info about myself of hobbies and things like that. I'm like, why not just consolidate it into one place? And I'm already out there across, 4 different businesses, and, I got my LinkedIn. I really don't care if people know my last name. I mean, you could circle
Right.
someone's face on your phone and do a reverse image search.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went for it.
Right. Right. Okay. And so so the domain that you got is datejd.com. Is that right?
Yeah, I can't believe I got a 6-letter domain, but
That is pretty impressive, especially one that doesn't just look like a child played with, an alphabet set, on the refrigerator with magnets.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
maybe I'm dating myself a little bit. When we were little, we had letters that you stuck on, on there. Yeah. And you could maybe find some random arrangements, but you got datejd.com. And I remember you showed me your card, and I have to say, like, I didn't know at the time that you had a marketing background, but now it makes sense because
Yeah.
like, how to boil it down. It like one side of the card says literally, "Are you single?" All caps, question mark. You turn it over and the answer is datejd.com. Oh, do you have one? Can
Oh,
you bring it up for us?
that's what I should have done. I had
Okay.
one.
Yeah. And when you handed it to me, I mean, I almost laughed out loud. It's like, "Are you single?" Because I have this sort of thought in my head where, the problem is we can't identify the single people that are out there in public. And if there was some kind of like a badge or a flashing sign, I know there's, I forgot what it's called, but pair, I think is what it's called. You're supposed to wear some ring and other people wearing the ring. I don't know how well that's working. I have my doubts about it, but if there was some way to easily recognize that I'm single, and then when you flash the card that basically says, "Are you single?" and then on the reverse is the solution, like date and then your name, it is so, like, I am tired of this baloney. I am tired of beating around the bush. I'm going to be as completely transparent as I can about this process. And I just got to say, like, bravo. Like, that must open up, just having that mindset about it, and that, no apologies, about where you are and what you're looking for. Like, that is so amazing.
Yeah, I've gotten some of the best feedback from it, because nobody's offended by it. It's just a very polite thing. It's very easy that someone will pick it up and they laugh and they go, "No, sorry, I'm not single. I got a boyfriend. I got this." But everyone wants to help though too.
Yeah.
I have never had someone hand a card back to me. It doesn't matter what I do. If I pass this thing out and they say, "No, I'm not single," but it ends with, "But I'm going to keep this. I'm going to pass it to my sister. I've got 2 friends I'm going to see next week." I mean, my gosh, these cards are going to make it around Denver. That's for sure.
That is awesome. And and that's the thing is, I feel like sometimes guys are a little bit shy about what, the maybe not the fact that they're single, but they're maybe not that clear with the world about what it is that they're looking for, their preferences. I learned a long time ago. I want everyone to know, when I'm single, that I am single, that I am looking. And then all of my friends know exactly the type of woman that I'm looking for. So it's sort of like I have little salespeople out there, or maybe not salespeople, but little opportunity people out there looking for the leads, and, like, going to extract them and send them back my way. Doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does. And so you're really just kind of throwing the leads out there constantly.
You even said it yourself. You had to walk it back 3 separate times in that sentence. It comes back to using sales terms. You've got salespeople, you've got leads. I'm like, there's tools built for this. There's CRMs, there's sales funnels, there's landing pages.
Right.
And what's better than having a landing page that you can share with someone?
What's awesome is, I had a guest on just a little while ago who was actually the number one Tinder dating profile, of 2022. And he talked about it in very similar terms. He talked about it from a marketing background, and he was talking about how he drove traffic from, I believe it was Reddit, to his profile, to increase it, and to essentially kind of like, what would be the word? Like, juice the algorithm into, like, pushing him up higher and higher, because he's driving external traffic onto the platform. And then he took it a step further, and he basically, his text messages and everything were essentially sales scripts that he worked out, and he figured out the most efficient way to do it. And he obviously went off script when appropriate, like any good salesperson. And okay, so yeah, you're another guy taking a similar approach, but yours is more grassroots, right? Yours is more on your own. So okay, so tell us. So is there literally, like, search engine optimization to your single status as a man? Is that really where you are?
Yeah, I'm really getting there right now, and I haven't gotten too clinical and commercial with it, but I definitely am targeting keywords and things like that. And,
Okay.
I think it's going to get a little more aggressive. Honestly, it's becoming easier with AI, and I'm like, wow, I'll pump out about 30, 40, AI fluff blog posts just to
Yeah.
draw SEO traffic. And
Okay. All right. So I have to ask. Okay. So I'm assuming you are going on dates, right? This is happening,
yeah,
either from your website or from a singles event, or, maybe dating platforms. Okay. So does this topic come up when you're on a date?
well, the people I'm going on a date with met me because I handed them a business card or found me on my
Okay.
website. So it's definitely,
Okay.
I,
And is everybody laughing about it on the date? I mean, so I should say, do women, is it a positive response from them?
I I would say it's a positive response because I can't not laugh about it when I talk about it because it is a funny endeavor. Like I'm not taking myself too seriously. And I think anybody that's actually single and actually trying to date, and not just complaining in a closed friends group, they realize that you have to put yourself out there. And I'm just that much more out there than they are. But it's like, if you bother to show up, get ready, do your hair, pick out an outfit and show up to this event, you're going to go walk up to random people and say hi. And all you're missing is handing them a business card. And anybody that's in the industry that does any sort of networking, it's just second nature, you know? And I mean, because I do a lot of networking events for my small business, it actually has become sort of a crutch because I'm so used to handing out a business card. The fact that when I go to a dating event, I don't have like, here's my number. I'm patting my pockets for a business card and I look like a crazy person.
Okay, so you hand these out at singles events. I mean, that has to piss off a lot of other guys. They're talking and everything, and you have a business card for your relationship status. There must be other guys there. Some of them are probably pissed. Some of them are like, okay, can I do that? You know, they're starting to think how they can market themselves a little better. I mean, we all know like humor and confidence. Those are like the two biggest qualities that women respond to, the best. And you're bringing them both there. You're being confident by putting it right out there. I mean, you're trying to rank yourself on Google, like that is definitely like you've got balls if that's how you're trying to work your dating life. And then you take that and then you add to it the fact that after you've told the story, you're laughing about it, you're smiling about it and letting go of it. Yeah. I mean, that shows kind of those two basic qualities, that a woman's looking for like right away. That is so cool.
Yeah. I think, and on the flip side of that, I have gotten a little bit of negative feedback, but I'm 3 people that I can think of out of the 50, 60 people I've talked to since I met you. And I would say it comes down to more cultural norms or like very just very closed off people. They not extroverts at all. Just the introverted mindset. Like so, for the first woman, she just I think she moved over from Japan like 4 or 5 months ago. So it's like cultural differences, right? They would never do something like that. And, I can't get around that or anything like that, but if you're not interested, then it's on.
Well, yeah, and you're not gonna win them all. And the thing is, you want to filter out a certain number of people, and by taking this approach, you can see already because it's your personality. It's like you can already see when you hand them the card, when you bring it out, you can see how much your personality on that card is resonating with them. And it almost acts as a preemptive filter before you bother to ask her out, before you bother to go on a date. You can already tell whether or not it's worth your time.
Yeah, exactly. And I treat it like that. If you don't find it funny, well, then we're not going to get along for the next 10 minutes, and we're definitely not going to go on a date.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll save some time and money here and just not do it. So, okay. So tell me, all right. So the website, what's on the website? What do you actually put? Like, is it just like, is it just a picture of you? What's on this website?
So right now, basically I made an Instagram account, for it. And so it's date.jd. And so I have that up there. I've just got, a good clean headshot of myself, nothing crazy. I haven't fully made it like a fun dating profile yet. I'm going to throw some more photos up this week. But that, and then a bio about myself. And I think the thing I'm really proud of is I have an events calendar on a separate page, and it's tied to a separate Google Calendar. And so every time I sign up for a dating event, I add it to that Google Calendar so it live updates to the site.
Okay. And so you're inviting women to stalk you. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Every guy's worst nightmare, right? Yeah. Is that women come and stalk you at a dating event. It's like, oh my God, it's JD from Date JD. Yeah.
I've never gotten that feedback yet, but that, that would be pinnacle right there.
It's coming. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're putting hundreds of dollars into search engine optimization, it's bound to happen, right? It's bound to happen.
So I
So
mean,
okay, so there's a calendar there. So women can women sign up for a date with you on said calendar? Can they book a time to have a date with JD? Can they pick, I want coffee, I want drinks, I want dinner at the steakhouse, I mean, how involved is this going to get?
um, I mean, honestly, those are great, funny ideas, and I mean, if I have time, I would love to implement all of them, just because I think it makes it more of a conversation piece.
Yeah.
The big
Yeah.
thing I've got right now is I've just got a like a Google form questionnaire,
Uh-huh.
and it's just got some questions that it's like, hey, are you chocolate or vanilla? And it
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
scores you on that, and
But
then
you, okay, I'm cheating a little bit here because I took a sneak peek at it and everything, but you call it either the date or your compatibility quiz, I think. Right? Yeah. So I mean, you're basically saying, hey, take this quiz to see whether or not you and I should be dating. And that in itself is fun, and gamifying it that way. It's like even just the questions that you're picking to ask them. That will already tell them whether or not you're at all on the same page. That is so cool. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the oh shoot, what was it? The yeah, was it the Pokemons, where the like you go on the scavenger hunt around the city and you're looking for it, I don't know what your web development skills are, but if you could build the mobile app where you can chase JD around Denver virtually, I mean that creates that whole anticipation before the date, it's like you're still on a date with one woman, but 3 hours before there's another woman running around the city collecting all the necessary tokens so that when she arrives at the date with you, she's qualified to be on the date.
I don't know if I'll go that extreme. I
Okay.
think it's funny enough that even though I'm posting these events that I'm going to, and
Yeah.
basically I'm trying to help just cross promote all of these other local Denver dating groups, and even then I think
Yeah.
the crowd isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone that you talk about that's single and this and that, the fact that there'll be 35 people out there on a
Yeah.
Friday night, and it's just like, well,
Yeah.
where is everyone? I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing.
So let me ask you, has doing this experiment made you more confident in approaching women, in communicating what it is that you're looking for, like inside in your state inside of yourself? Has it impacted at all your confidence or other areas of yourself?
I think it's actually helped and hurt at the
Hmm.
same time,
Okay.
because the business card and all that is a funny opener.
Hmm.
I made some different ones too recently. So instead of it just saying "Are you single?" on the back, each one is a different funny pickup line, and that
Okay.
way they're all unique and everything. And I just sat down and hammered out about 25 different versions. And,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a good icebreaker, but at the same time, it puts me into this script because all of the interactions go the same way.
Yeah.
Where I talk, I get to know them, and then I
Gotcha.
say, hey, I've got this funny thing I wanted to share with you. I've got a whole site if you want to learn about me.
Uh-huh.
And it just kind of pigeonholes me into this script.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, you're not just a person, you're a person attached to a thing. And you have to kind of break back out of that again in order to build the rapport that you're hoping for. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be an issue. Cool.
but
Um,
go ahead.
Last thing is I also when we were together, you mentioned your mom has gotten involved in this process.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of started as this dare sort of thing as I was working on it. I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm going to make this site. And she goes, if you make it, I'm going to promote it. And I'm like, maybe I'll mail you some of the business cards or something. And she's like, I'm going to get a shirt made. And she got a shirt made, and she got a custom shirt, and it's got my face on it and a QR code to the website. And it says, my son is single in all caps across the top. And she's got it on the front and back of the shirt.
Right.
And she wore
Well,
that thing before going on a cruise.
I know the old term in marketing is there's no such thing as bad publicity. Okay. Now I feel like we may have like started to like go into an area where possibly,
Yeah.
my son is single, where we've possibly gone into the bad publicity area. How do you feel about it?
I think from just the sake of general acceptance, yeah, I think it moves into the bad publicity area.
Yeah.
But for what I'm personally looking for, the person that I want to date, you better find it funny. And so I think
Gotcha.
from the general acceptance, yeah, I think it might be, on the downhill side, but
Right.
I really like the people that find it funny. And if they
Yeah.
don't love the shirt, and I show off photos of the shirt. It's like, here's the business card, and this is my mom wearing this shirt. And if you don't find it funny, then
Yeah.
again, we're not going to get along. So it
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. And again, you're filtering out,
Yeah,
and that filtering out, it makes you paradoxically stand out as more distinctive in what you're doing. And you're also like, hey, it's not just me. Like, I come from a long family line of people who act this way. So, like, you're going to feel really uncomfortable at Thanksgiving if we end up being boyfriend, girlfriend. I bring you home and you're not down to wear whatever weird thing we're doing. Yeah, you're just maybe not meant for this relationship. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So are you going to keep this up until any particular thing? Any plans on maybe, taking it from a single profile into some sort of like interesting, I don't know, SEO based, publicly available thing, like turning this into some kind of a business? Is because
Um, I would say I haven't thought about turning it into a business, but I've had a couple people ask me like, well, what happens when you find someone? What
yeah.
does Date JD do? And I started thinking about that already.
Hmm.
And I realized there, dating is not as much of a head on head competition between guys
Hmm.
because everybody's looking for something different. They find a different kind of person attractive. And so I really want to start promoting other people as well. Because as
Hmm.
I'm sitting here meeting all these people, I want to just start taking, a photo with them and saying,
Right.
hey, I met Jeff at this event today. This is what he's like. He's also single. Here's his Instagram tag.
Right.
Same thing. Here's Sarah. I met her at this event,
Yep.
because if you're going to sit down and talk with someone for 15, 20 minutes,
Hmm.
to try to figure out if you're compatible, you're going to
Yeah.
learn a lot about that person.
Yeah.
And like I said, most people already have dating profiles. You're already sharing this stuff.
Right.
So if you want to get out there and give it a test, I don't think you have to build a whole new website. And I'd love for you to come up to me and I'll post about you on there.
So there might be JD and friends at a
Yeah,
certain point on the website, and you just sort of like create separate pages and let them piggyback on your SEO budget to sort of put themselves. And again, a certain type of person that's drawn to that. I could imagine. I could imagine possibly. You're talking about singles events that you go to. Date JD singles events. Where only people that are really have this particular personality are going to show up. That could be pretty fun. Yeah. Awesome.
and it would help, collect the people that you want to be around.
Yeah. 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 Has this picked up any traction with the media at all? Has anybody noticed it? I think I remember you saying something.
I haven't gotten any media traction. I also haven't spent a lot of time promoting it yet. It's kind of a back burner project, basically.
Of
Now
course.
it's mostly me like, oh crap, that's right, I forgot to get ready for this dating event and
Yeah.
rushing
Hmm.
out of the house. But
Yeah.
when I get some more free time, then yeah, I'd love to start promoting it. And my goal is, by the end of the year, I either want to start getting, at least free tickets to all these dating events, or make it on the news, or both.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Come to this dating event. JD is gonna be there. Yeah, you become the celebrity that shows up at the party, known for his singleness. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yes. Please, yeah, you're handing out the cards like they're confetti. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you walk in the room.
But
Awesome. Okay. Well, yes, we all have our own goals in life. We all have our own dreams, and that's a pretty cool one. Cool. So before we wrap up here, is there anything like you've just learned through this process that maybe a guy that's a little more shy that was like I'd never do that, and myself.
If you're shy and you're not able to do this kind
Yeah.
of stuff, you don't want to do this, don't be that person. You're
Mhm.
you're not going to get along with a girl that enjoys this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to push yourself out there to do this stuff. There's plenty of guys that steer clear of me. When I start talking about it, I can see them just run away,
Mm-hmm.
and because they don't want when people like circle up around me or something like that, they don't like that environment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. I see it happen with women as well. They're like, oh no, and they run away too. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Those people that ran away go collect in their own corner and talk to each other over there. So I mean, it's actively helping people that are the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to show up at an event where you're going to be, where do they go? How do they do this?
DateJD.com.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you, JD. I've really appreciated you having you on the show. This has been super fun. A whole new angle of approach. Rather than taking your money and putting it into a matchmaking service, consider some private marketing and SEO funding instead. Well, I guess that is a question. Would you be willing to potentially, put these skills to work for somebody else? If a client came to you and said, I want you to optimize for me, would that be something you'd be willing to do?
Yeah, yeah. There's no such thing as competition in the dating game.
Okay. I'm not sure all guys would agree with that, but we'll go along with you on it for now. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, JD. Pleasure having you on, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right. Take care.